So listen, obviously you're interested in Aster Park. I would tell you it is a great community with a whole bunch of amazing builders. It is Prosper ISD and it does not have any HUD, MUD, or any crazy tax associated with that. So if you're not aware of those are some taxes that do actually accrue interest, but this place does not have any of those. So this is a great choice. This location is also close to 75 and 380. So if you're looking for a place that fits your criteria, Aster Park is something you definitely have to consider. And I will tell you now, as you'll see in this video, as we start to walk around, they have a whole bunch of spec homes or inventory homes on ground. And for you as a buyer, that is actually a great thing. That's your chance to get a good deal. And usually the builders at that time will start to increase the incentives. So all right, we're gonna start off with Highland Homes. Highland Homes builds two products here, a 40-foot product and a 50-foot product. So an easy way to tell whether it's a 40 or 50-foot product, all 40-foot products basically have a garage in the back, and then even some smaller houses, 35s, there's some 30s, those also have garages in the back. So that's just kind of an easy way to tell. So Highland currently has 8 move-in ready homes, 1 coming soon. And these houses are actually starting out at $530,000, pretty much around 2,500 square feet, give or take a couple hundred square feet. But these are actually nice looking plans. So you can see nice big open kitchen there, nice laundry room. Remember, the garage is in the back, so the laundry room is also in the back. Nice appliances, nice countertop, big space here for the pantry, so pretty big for a 40-foot product. But again, just remember, this is a little bit smaller product, but the price is also a little bit cheaper. Nice looking staircase there, big open, plenty of space in the living room though if you're looking for that. And then remember, with a 40-foot, the actual master is going to be in the front of the house. Very rarely the master is on the second floor, but they're kind of work in progress here. Haven't thrown the tub in yet, but some nice looking tile, nice big walk-in closet, so plenty of space here in the bathroom and the master for sure. Then downstairs you do have one more bedroom, so that's one master in the front, one additional bed there, and then a whole nother bathroom there. So that would be the bathroom your guests share when they do come over. But they did a little upgrade on the stairs here. Really wish they would have put some wood on the stairs, but it's okay. I mean, carpet's not bad. You can always get that fixed later. Remember, everything that you can get later on without the builder. It's going to be way cheaper, and I guess there's plenty of labor around to get it done. So upstairs, another bedroom here, plenty of room up at the front of the house. And then as you go across here, kind of like a life space, maybe a media room, game room. You can see kind of that little indent there where you'd be able to put your TV. And then off here in the back, there is a full bath. I do like this with the double sinks and then the door that leads into the bathroom and shower area. So if you have multiple kids upstairs, they can kind of all use the bathroom at the same time. It doesn't become awkward. And then another bedroom here in the back of the house. These bedrooms aren't absolutely huge, but they're definitely big enough to put a bed. Perfect for your kids, plenty of room for that. So I wouldn't be concerned with that. And one thing I do like about this plan, there is a ton of natural light that comes in as you peek over the balcony. Again, you are getting those super high ceilings with a little peek over to the downstairs, so you can kind of take a look at your kids while they're upstairs playing. But overall, this is definitely not a bad plan. Remember, these plans are starting out at $530. Again, that's the starting price. You never seem to be able to get the house for that price, and if you did, you probably don't want to live there because there wouldn't be any upgrades to the house. So let's go ahead and check out the actual backyard. Remember, 40 foot, so the garage is in the back. You'd actually enter through a gate in the back. You can see there's a bunch of alleys here. That's how you get it. But it's a fair amount of size lot. You could definitely put a dog here. They already have these actual plumb for the gas, so you can go ahead and build out your grill there. So it'll be actually plenty of room for that. And again, like I said, Highland does have a lot of homes on ground, so that is good for you, like I said in the beginning, because the more homes they have on ground, the actual less they actually want to pay for those, so they're more willing to make a deal. So this is kind of on the other side of the street. They have a whole bunch of these that are available. Some of these are actually sold, but these are some nice looking places. I like the stairs, the rail going up the stairs. They've done a really good job on the landscaping, a fair amount of landscaping, and I do like those shutters. Those actually do look good for sure. So I did a lot of door shaking here, you can see that I couldn't get in this house, but this house is ready. It is available, so if you like the way this looks, you can definitely get this. So one benefit of having a 40-foot lot also is, as you can see, there is a ton of green space in front of you, so you could actually hang out in the front of the house and let your kids play with plenty of room there. So this lot is available. Looks like they're already starting to build. I guess that could be the one that's coming soon. But you know, Highland has done definitely a fair amount of work of putting a whole bunch of spec homes on ground. So if you're looking for something, this is definitely it. Another one there, a little bit different. Looks like still another work in progress. I do like this one. This one is still kind of under construction, but the door was open, so I want to kind of peep in, show you a little bit different plan, a little bit way it looks, and just kind of cool to always see what progress they're making on the house. Looks like they just spray painted this place. So again, nice looking countertops. I do like these cabinets a little bit better. These are some good quality cabinets. I'm not sure they're going to paint them or not, but there's a fair amount of space in here. I didn't go too far in this house. I mean, nothing really to look at. They're still putting the floor in, so if you have a specific floor you like, I will tell you it could be a possibility. But remember, with all spec homes, each builder has their own designer. So that designer basically has already picked the color format for each house. So your ability to really change that is very, very minimum. I haven't been too successful later on to actually change it. But you can see here, I mean, a whole bunch of different bricks, a whole bunch of different elevations that they have on these houses. But these are really some good looking houses, but there's a whole bunch of them available. So if you're looking to get a 40-foot product, you want to live in Prosper ISD, you don't want to pay any crazy HUD or mud, this is definitely an opportunity for you to get a place here. And just like I said, with 8 quick and move-ins ready, 1 on the way, I do believe there is definitely some place for negotiation here. So definitely you could probably not pay the asking price. Here's another builder. So this is Highland Homes. So they have obviously this is not a 40-foot product. Why? Because their garages are in the front. This is a nice 3-car garage, so this really does look good. This builder is not everywhere, but I will tell you they do a really nice job with building the house. So you know, right when you walk in, I like these nice long hallways. Not a super tall roof, but it's enough that you can actually see. And then right off on the front side here, they do have a bedroom. And this is kind of interesting. So right through this is going to be the bathroom. And then on the other side, there's actually going to be another bedroom. So this is what we call a Jack and Jill. So if you have kids, obviously the whole Jack and Jill reference comes from that. But basically it's pretty convenient for the bathroom. You know, they can just kind of slide through. When the door's open, they can go in. If not, obviously someone's in there using it. Little mudroom right here off the right side. Always a good place to be able to just kind of hang your coats coming in and out of the garage. Again, remember this is a 3-car garage, so a bunch of space. And then again, your laundry room is here. I like how these are kind of centrally located. Your laundry room is, you know, right next to right when you come in. So if you got a whole bunch of dirty clothes stuff, you can just throw them in there. And then we have another bedroom here. Decent sized closet, not absolutely huge, but it's definitely a fair amount of space for the closet. But I do like the point that, you know, there is a bathroom here. This is what we call an ensuite. So if you have a multi-generational family, this is definitely a good choice for you to kind of go ahead and, you know, move your family in there. And I do like that it's also, you know, far away from the actual master. So it does give you a little bit more privacy. So if people like to get up and walk around, get themselves a cup of coffee early in the morning, that's the ability. So I do like this nice little powder right here. So when your guests come over, they're not going through your bedroom or using that Jack and Jill that we saw in the front. This kitchen is surprisingly has a whole ton of space. You can see this nice big open concept. I like that second row of windows up there. And I would tell you they have a pretty cool, what I thought was an LED fireplace, which it is. However, I would tell you that it does put out a bunch of heat. It was on and it was absolutely blazing. Another cool part about this is right out to the back is going to be your pantry. And then some additional space where you can kind of just keep stuff out of the way. I really do like that. I kind of also wish that they would put a sink back there, but they didn't. So you could kind of hide your appliances back there if you wanted to and keep your countertops nice and clean. But again, stainless steel appliances, nice looking countertops. Do have a space for a breakfast nook. It's not really a dining room, but you could definitely put a table here, eat your breakfast here. No formal dining here in this. And then again, you can see this has some giant sliding doors. So one here, one on the right hand side there. Big backyard. I do like the point that, you know, it's a fair amount of size. It does have a tree. I'm usually not a fan of that actual big wall like that, but I mean, each is your own. That's just Jeremy's personal preference, but you know, it does have a fair sized backyard. Definitely could put a dog there. I do like how the porch is actually covered, so kind of to keep you out of the weather. I would tell you this is a huge upgrade. They spent a lot of money putting all this tile on this fireplace. The mantel there does look good. And then right off this side, you could call this an office. I'd probably use it for more for a meeting room, maybe a playroom for kids or a toy room, but definitely can really use that for sure. But again, here's another take a look at the fireplace. I would tell you, like I said before, it was really putting out a bunch of heat. So, but cool, it just looks cool overall. And the master here, got carpet in it, 2 extra windows up there on the top. I like that, you know, letting in an additional amount of light. And then into the master, so, you know, this is basically a bath and a half, has the shower, has the bathtub. So kind of 2 closets here, kind of a his and hers. That's kind of cool. So whichever the smallest one is, if you're the guy, unfortunately that's probably going to be your closet, but you'll probably make do. I would tell you that, in all honesty, I'm not a fan of the way they put the bathtubs here. I think it just looks kind of out of place, but you know, that's just kind of my thing. I want to make sure I give you an honest opinion. I just don't like the way it sits sideways like that. I like it for it to sit the other way. But overall, I mean, they make a really nice product. They have a fair amount of these on ground. You'll see a couple more later on, you know, in the video. But if you're looking to get a deal on something like this, you know, they do have a fair amount available. So you can definitely probably negotiate on that. And then remember, like every month, all these builders, they run some type of special, right? So, you know, whatever they're running this month may be a little bit different next month. The longer a house sits, the longer they actually, or the longer they start to discount or give you better deals. I mean, sometimes they just can't get rid of a house, so you can get some special deal on that house. I mean, they start to offer realtor incentives. But overall, I mean, just kind of walking around here, but it's a nice looking community. I would tell you that some people have moved into the community, so that's a bonus for you. I like to tell people, yes, you know, the first phase is definitely the cheapest phase to buy a house, but that doesn't mean the community is actually going to thrive and actually make it. So you probably want to just, you know, be careful. Once the community has started to go, that's a good time to buy the house. But I haven't seen any failed communities lately in Texas, but you know, it's definitely a possibility. But this community is not going to fail. I would tell you, they probably wish they were selling a lot faster. I mean, the more houses you have on ground, you know, definitely that's not the preferred method for sure of what you want. But you know, this doesn't have a crazy amount. So here's another builder. This is actually by Shaddock. So Shaddock builds a nice product. They build all over DFW. You know, they have a really nice looking style. If you ever want to know if it's a Shaddock or not, they always put the same thing right in the front. You can see their little logo there. Unfortunately, this house was locked, but I would tell you, you can see the sign out in the front yard. Shaddock used to not have a lender, but lately it seems they've acquired a lender, and you can see right there. So the 4.9% interest for the first year, the second year 5%, and then you'd go to the, you know, the rate, whatever the rate is after that. But they do have a couple houses on ground. There's a little 1-story there. There's another one that was actually also looked like it was locked. So I kind of just turned the corner just to give you more of the, hey, look, this is what the neighborhood looks like. But again, you can see they are building a ton of houses. Some are sold, a lot of them are just building specs. But one thing I do like about this community is the roads are, you know, they're not all straight. I hate when the roads are, you know, basically numbers and letters, that they're all completely straight. There's no character to the community. This community does have a, you know, a fair amount of character. So it does feel like it's a little bit more of a high-end community. So it just, you know, it just feels a lot nicer. So I think this house was actually open. Oh, yes, I believe so. Let's take a look inside here. Let's see. It looks like it's slightly under construction. Yes, you can tell that they haven't put the floor in, but let's go take a look inside just to see what it's kind of looking like. Looks like off to the left there would be some kind of study. Nice big island here. Again, I like these actual cabinets. You can see up top they're going to put the glass in, but big open. I mean, even though there's no lights on, there is a ton of natural light coming in to this space, so that's something that will definitely look amazing. And again, master bedroom looks good. They've kind of started on the master bath. I would say this place was a little bit weird. So for this one, there's no bathtub, so I thought that was definitely interesting. There's only a shower in this house, so I'll probably circle back maybe a month from now when they've started to finish it and to really see what their concept was. But I thought it was really interesting that they had not put a bathtub in, so you can kind of see a peek down from the top. I'm not going to walk upstairs just because it looks like they just painted crazy dirty, but again, fair amount of size in the actual kitchen there. Cool entrance. I mean, I like the kind of the curved stairs going up, then outside this, really does look good. So again, this will be Highland. So we talked about this, the garage is in the front, right? So this would be a Highland. So these starting around $680. Looks like right now they have 4 quick move-ins. So again, there is some ability probably to negotiate or get a better price. But all right, let's take a look at this place. So nice looking place. I do like the brick on here. And then if you can take a look up on the left-hand side, you can see that this is a Shaddock home. And Shaddock always has these mats. I've sold houses all over the DFW area. And every single house that Shaddock builds just comes with a mat, and seems to be people continue to use those mats forever. But you'll notice this house has a whole bunch of blue tape, so I would imagine they probably just finished this house. And if you've ever bought a new construction, that's kind of one of the things you do. You'll do a walkthrough of the house probably about a week before you actually buy the house, and you'll slap this blue tape everywhere on the house, to say, hey, look, this is a mistake, we want to get this fixed. And then about a week, that's done a week before, and then right before you close the house, you'll do what we call a final walkthrough. You'll take your list and make sure they've kind of fixed everything that was, you've identified as blue tape, or they do green tape. Every builder does something a little different, but it's really the same process. This house is a little bit different. Like you can see here, it does have this formal dining room. So if that's something you're looking for, this does have it for sure. So nice big open kitchen. One thing to notice is the ceiling on the kitchen is not all the way up. It's kind of the low ceiling over the kitchen area. And the stove is a little bit off to the side. That's just a little bit different. So everybody has their own perks on what they like. Shaddock does a lot of this kind of different looking tile. I think it looks really good, so that would be in your laundry room. But yeah, just see how the sink is kind of off. The stove is off to that side. Nice fireplace, and then you can see the roof is all the way up here. So you're going to get that big open concept that does have that second row of windows. So really going to bring in a whole bunch of extra light. Now let's take a look at the master. Again, carpet in the master. Always wish they'd just put in standard regular hardwood, but this has a nice big bathroom. I like how that tub is. See how this tub's turned? It's not crooked like the other house we saw before. So I think it just looks a little bit better. Feels a little bit more open. I always worry about those other tubs I'm going to kind of run into. But huge, big walk-in closet. Nice looking shower. Nice tile. Again, tub looks good. Vanities are nice. Those are actually a little bit raised vanities, so we call those comfort height. So if that's something you're looking for, and you can tell this house is wired. So let's take a look outside. Again, a little bit different concept with the patio here. Yes, it's covered. It's not quite as reduce yourself as much from the elements, but overall the backyard is pretty large. Definitely can have a dog, let your kids play out there if that's what you're looking for. So plenty of room for that. But again, you can see how this high ceiling goes here, but again, you can see how it's not on top of the kitchen. The kitchen doesn't have that high ceiling. So, all right, let's walk around. You can see definitely an upgrade on the stairs. Again, the first step is wood, but the stairs are actually carpet. So more blue tape there, so there is some stuff they're working on. You'll see that pretty common. A lot of times when they put the trim in, there'll be some issues with that, and for sure there's always an issue with either the texture or the paint. So when you buy your new home, you're going to definitely spend a lot of time putting blue tape everywhere. But nice bedroom up here. Another full bath off to this side. Again, this one doesn't have the actual divider, so that's a one person at a time bathroom for sure. And then over here on this side, again, this is a ensuite. So the definition of an ensuite basically is inside there. They have their own bathroom. So I do like this. This is a nice looking place. So the only thing that is kind of an issue is if you have an ensuite and you're trying to do multi-generational. I have a lot of clients that actually say, hey Jeremy, I'd love to have an ensuite. However, the problem is I don't want it to be downstairs. I need it to actually be, I want it to be downstairs. I don't want it to be upstairs. So because of that, sometimes these houses are just not what people are looking for. But if you have an older kid, it could be really great to have your ensuite actually upstairs. They can kind of be away from you. And then this place has a huge, really big media room. I was kind of surprised at the size of the media room. a little additional life space there. But overall, this is a nice house. I mean, Shaddock builds a really nice product. They build all kinds of products, like I said, all throughout the DFW. So if you're looking for a nice product, Shaddock is definitely an opportunity. And because they brought on their own lender, before I've done a lot of deals where Shaddock didn't have their own lender. Shaddock definitely has their own title company. So if you ever close a house with Shaddock, they actually own their own title company. So they sell houses, own their own title company. My guess is now they decide to go ahead and put in a lender with them. But there's a couple Shaddock houses right down this road there for sale. Remember, most of the time builders, they have a lot of houses that are around. So same thing, great looking place here, same deal. They're offering the same interest on this house. And I tell you, that interest deal is throughout the whole DFW area. I've seen that on multiple communities, so it's not just here in this community. I think this door was actually locked. Yeah, so a fair amount of these are locked. Some of them are open, just kind of random. But as you can see, this area is these are the bigger houses. You can see the garages aren't in the back, so they've definitely kind of split up the community by size. I mean, that only makes sense. So you can see there are some people that are actually living here. I would guess probably, I don't know, less than 10 people are probably living here right now. But there is a ton of construction that is occurring in this area. So this is a nice looking house. I do like the way this looks, for sure. So it looks like they just put the yard on this place. But that's another Highland that's for sale. That's going to be a 50-foot right, so we know those are starting 680s. Someone actually owns this house to the right hand side, so he definitely didn't go in there. Looks like they just put the driveway in on this one, the right, so we didn't go in there either. I think this one might have been for sale or might have been sold. Let's see what it says. So that one's actually sold. So a little fun fact that if you're ever driving around the neighborhood and you're looking at new construction, don't pull in the driveway. They really start to freak out about that. They don't want you to stand up the driveway or put any tire marks on the driveway, because it's really a pain when they need to try to remove those and actually close the house. So over on the left hand side here, you can see there's a whole bunch of construction going on. So these are all Toll Brothers homes. These are all actually sold. I didn't see any on ground houses for Toll Brothers, but these are going to be the big boys, the Toll Brothers, the big products they're actually offering. But they do have some lots that are available for Toll Brothers. So if you're looking for a Toll Brothers, you can definitely get a lot here. If there's no inventory on the ground, Toll Brothers does a lot of deals with interest rates and stuff like that, but they do a lot of rebates where you can, get an upgrade on this, get an upgrade on that. But there are some ability to get a better deal with Toll Brothers. It's just not going to be like everything else. So if you've never seen this machine right here, this guy is cleaning the street. There's some kind of requirement for the builders to ensure, the contractors to ensure the street is clean. I don't think I've been as this much dust since I was in Iraq or Afghanistan. So at this point, I'm kind of just trying to survive. This guy keeps just blowing the dust everywhere. And I'm not sure if I got a picture of him or not, but he's literally wearing like ski goggles, a crazy mask. You can see here, and it doesn't look that bad, but I'll tell you that the air is just like full of sand and it's really abrasive. But I think we actually get past this guy. I was going to start running, but thought it might be a little bit weird. But this guy just continues to kill it and get rid of this. But as you can see, there's some houses. There's some lots available on the left hand side. So if you're looking to get a house, there are definitely a fair amount of lots, Then again on the right hand side, so these aren't quite 40s. We know these are at least 50s. So there are some houses that are available here. I think I checked this house. So this is another Highland 50. I do like the way this house looks. Pretty looking house. I'm not sure they're gonna stain those shutters or not. I think they probably will, because you can see there's still some pieces they're working. You can see on the ground here, it looks like they just put those into the front. So and then remember, if it's a white house and it's painted, all houses that are white that are painted, they're red brick, so they use the cheapest brick possible to do that. So it looks like they just stained the stairs here. I'm sure they're going to stain the banister next. Let's just peep in, take a look at the kitchen. This is a pretty amazing kitchen. This really looked nice. I love those quartz countertops, those nice pendant lights. This did have an upgraded actual stove, the hood, farmer's kitchen there, or farmer's sink there. So again, a lot of nice natural light. I would tell you the only thing I didn't like about this house was I don't think think the floor quite matched. The floor color was just a little bit dark. It seemed like it was maybe a little bit off for me, but we'll see once they finish it up. But again, this has, you can see the black handles, nice tile work in the bathroom. I like the way the tub is, dual sink there, a little place in the middle for a vanity. They still haven't put the shower in yet, but this really does look like a nice looking bathroom. Again, remember, I don't know why they don't just fog all the windows in the bathrooms, but please do me a favor, if you buy a house like this and the bathroom window is not fogged, go ahead and fog that. Your neighbors are going to thank you for that later, because it just definitely is a little bit awkward for sure. So pretty big backyard here. Again, this house does sit up above everything else. You can see how you're way higher than the roof line, so I didn't go out and look at the yard, but my guess is you can see a small wall there. I wonder if the right hand side there's a giant wall. So I would tell you, as we build more and more communities and the land's not quite as prime as we'd like it to be, there are a whole bunch of houses that kind of sit on these weird giant super high walls. Is it a risk? I don't know, but it's not my preference. So nice media room. Looks like they just started to paint this. That'll be cool. Will look really nice. It'll be nice and dark in there. But again, great looking kitchen. You can see they're working on the laundry room there. Some pretty crazy tile, kind of like we saw before. Not quite as crazy, but that'll be a nice looking laundry room there for sure. Then I think we already peeped in here. So this is going to be some kind of office. You can see the 2 doors there. Most of the time 2 doors means it's not a bedroom. It's going to be an office. There is a bedroom up here in the front. So up at the front of the house. And then you can see a closet there. No en-suites here. Across the hall, you'll see in their full bath. Again, 2 doors, so 2 people can use it at the same time. I do like having a shower down there where people, your guests, kind of hang over them. They don't have to worry about stepping in the shower, especially as we all start to get old, right? Over there, just step into a shower, then step into a bathtub. But overall, I mean, this is a really nice looking house. Still definitely in the process, but looks good. Same kind of concrete here. You can see that, right? You can see that salt concrete where it's kind of dug in. That's what they're looking for. That is the texture. That's not a mistake. Almost got ran over by this guy again, but this guy seems to just keep following me, just blowing dust everywhere. So I try to avoid him here, kind of skirt, but you can see here's another Highland available. Didn't go in that one, but you can definitely see the difference from the outside. Here's another MI home. So I did stop at MI Homes. I haven't been in a lot of MI homes, but this is a decent looking product. I think it really looks good. Price point's a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure about that brick. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of that way it is. I do like this door though. Looks like they're probably going to stain that. Probably haven't in the process yet. I'll tell you, this house is not very far along, so I kind of just peep in. Didn't go upstairs, but you can see bedroom off the front. I haven't finished the floor yet. This is going to be full bath here. There is no power in this place. I just had to check it, but yeah, no power in this place at all. They do have the floor down, so sometimes builders will put the floor down early. And this is one of those examples. So nice little office there, dual glass doors. Kitchen is still kind of a work in progress, but you can kind of get the feel for it, right? It would be a nice kitchen. Definitely plenty of size in there, so it does look good. And then you can see a little bit different, a lot of space you can see from the top. I peeped in the master. Not a lot of progress going on in the master. Obviously, they still need a floor. You can see the bathtub is full. If you've never seen that before, there is a requirement that, once they put in the bathtub, they put a drain in, make sure it doesn't leak. Same thing with the shower. They'll fill the shower up, make sure there's no leaks around the outside or anything like that. But yeah, MI is definitely a builder here. If you didn't know that, they do have some houses that are available. And then this became kind of awkward on the way out. I met this guy. Maybe you can't see him, but he looks like he's the construction foreman. So he was locking up all the houses. I kind of went out, so kind of a crazy coincidence for that. All right, so let's kind of just head a little bit deeper into the actual housing development where they're starting to build. So kind of just walking down this way. This whole road was really just not a lot of houses were done, not a lot of progress, nothing that really looked complete. But I would tell you, there were a ton of workers out. This is pretty late, so you can see on the left hand side they're actually framing the house. That's basically where they're throwing up all the sticks. On the right hand side, I didn't really get them well, but they're actually putting in the rebar before they pour the concrete. I kind of kept the camera a little bit low here. I don't want it to be super awkward like I'm filming these people, because people just don't like it. But you can see on the right hand side they're starting to cut the rebar for that. Left hand side, this guy's actually bringing out a whole bunch of wood, again for the framing. And there's a guy down here right up there on the left hand side. He's actually cutting some wood. It's probably not the prescribed method, but I would tell you these guys are working crazy hard. They do a great job on building these houses, and these are definitely some hard working people for sure. But as you can see, that it's all throughout the whole area. They're definitely working hard to get everything done, get it on time. So, but yeah, let's just kind of walk down here. I think down at the end of this road, there was another place that was available. You can see there are some houses sold here. They are working to, get these done. Usually it takes probably 8 to 10 months to build the house. From like when you go in, you pick a lot, they work on the plan. It's a long process. It feels like it takes forever, but I mean, that's you as a buyer. You need to go out, every week, take a look at it, make sure they're doing the right thing, make sure they haven't done anything wrong or completely different from the print. I would tell you, I've had some clients buy some houses, and as I kind of look through the process and watch them actually build the house, we have had some houses where what they start to build was just completely wrong. Not a lot on the exterior. Bricks usually good, structure plans usually good, but a lot of times the interior finishes will just be wrong. Will be the wrong floor, wrong fixtures that go in the house. Sometimes even the wrong countertops. So, what I'm saying, as you're building your house, go out every week, take a look at it, see what kind of progress is being made. And I would tell you that it's not uncommon. I really encourage my clients to go out on Sunday. The builders are not working on Sunday, so your ability to get in the house is definitely good. Just be careful. I mean, there's some stuff that's not dangerous in the house, but slips, trips, and falls are definitely an issue where you can trip over something, and for sure your shoe's going to get dirty. So just be careful when you go out to look at your house. So you can see they're starting to build here. You can see that this is kind of the perimeter. So these people are buying the cul-de-sac. Obviously, these houses are going to be way more expensive. Cul-de-sac, green space behind you. Not that the houses are more expensive, but for sure the lots are going to be more expensive. So if the builder does have a premium on the lot, just remember that any lot there's a premium on is going to be more for, a cul-de-sac like this. Backs up to a green space, has a green space in front of it. There's all kinds of variables that go into the actual price of what a lot costs. And remember, there's a whole bunch of things that go into, what your house is going to cost you. So this is William Ryan again. I believe this house was actually locked. I wanted to kind of look inside because it did look like it's done. But remember, houses, first off, you got to buy the lot, right? Once you buy the lot, you got to build the plan. And after you build a plan, are there any structural upgrades you're going to cost? So those are kind of your first two big things. And the next thing is the builder would love for you to go to the design center. So everybody always spends a bunch of money at the design center. So I'm not sure it's either you or your significant other, but someone needs to kind of be the person that's in control there. Have a budget before you go there. I mean, remember, new construction, it's sales, right? They're trying to not get as much money out as they can for you as possible, but that's definitely what it feels like when you go there. I mean, everything that they offer as the standard plan is something you just don't want, so it always feels like you have to upgrade. So just be careful when you go to the design center on what you actually do upgrade with, right? And then, like I tell all my clients, right, there is an ability that once the builder is done, labor here is pretty cheap. You can definitely get someone to come in cheaper. If you want to upgrade the floor, if you want to change out some light fixtures, you want to change out the sink, you have the ability to find someone else to do that, which would be way cheaper than build it. But remember, that's going to require that you have some actual cash in your pocket. If you don't have cash, maybe it's better to have the builder do it now, roll it into the loan, and you just pay for it over time. But that's something you have to think about. So this road, again, there's still kind of work in progress here. There are some houses off to the left. This house is really a nice looking place, but as you can see there, it was actually sold. So it looks like you're a little bit late on the house, but really beautiful looking house. I like the way that looks. Again, white brick. Remember, that white brick is going to be painted. There are some actual white brick that you can buy, but the price comparison to painted brick and real white brick is obviously way different, right? They can buy the cheapest brick possible because they are going to paint over that. Off to the right hand side, you can see they're starting to work on the gate. So it looks like this is going to be a gated area. I'm not sure if this is going to remain open or closed. So you probably drove around and see there's some areas that have actual gates, and those gates are actually for fire department only. But I believe this is actually going to be gated at the back. This will open up, so it should be nice if you're living out here by the back gate that'll actually close at night. But I would tell you that everybody's building everywhere in Dallas, so pretty soon this whole place will be full, so you won't have to worry about having too much open space or no area behind you for sure. So, again, just kind of rolling down this way. It looks like that's a foam guy. Kind of getting back to where we were before, where Toll Brothers is. Circling back, but overall, I mean, this is a really nice community. If you're looking for a place that, again, is in Prosper ISD, doesn't have any mud or pit, this could be a good opportunity for you. I think it's a good opportunity also because there is a whole bunch of houses that are on ground. They have a whole bunch of inventory. This is still early in the phase. I know interest rates have started to come down a little bit, but just remember that everybody is waiting. If they're all waiting for the interest rate, that means when everybody is done, then everybody that was waiting is going to start to make an offer, and that's really just going to drive up prices. If you can afford to buy it now, maybe possibly refinance later, that's a great opportunity. Adjustable rate mortgages, Jeremy's just not a fan of those because you don't know what it's going to look like in the future. If you can't afford the house right now at the actual market rate, then you probably shouldn't buy the house. I know that's not what most realtors say, but I'll tell you, I'm a very honest dude. If you can't, finance it, you can't afford to pay for it, just don't buy it. As you can see here on the right hand side, this community has this giant bank of mailboxes, so I know it's kind of a little bit weird, but also think about where your house is compared to where your mailbox is. I would tell you where I live at, very fortunate, my mailboxes are kind of just outlining my driveway and off the right hand side. So is it a showstopper if your mailbox is super far away? No, absolutely not, but just something to think about. But again, hey, if you're interested in Aster Park, I definitely encourage you to go out, take a look, walk around, see what deals they're actually offering this time. If you want some help doing with that, I'm kind of a low pressure guy, just want to provide you some value, but reach out to me. I can definitely help you. Been pretty successful as of late, negotiating some pretty amazing deals, closing costs, low interest rates. A lot of builders right now are kind of really motivated. It's started to change into a buyer's market, and there is some opportunity for sure out there for you. So hey, listen, take care. Hope you enjoyed the video. Think about liking, maybe subscribing. Just kind of helps me out and lets me know what everybody likes. But stay safe out there. I'll talk to you soon.